Is your health insurance a ticking time bomb? You pay your premiums every month thinking you're safe, that you're covered. But what if I told you that for millions of people, that sense of security is just an illusion? What if the very system designed to protect you is actually a financial death trap in disguise? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the shocking truths about health insurance that companies do want you to know. This isn't just about numbers on a page, it's about real people, real families, and the devastating financial risks hiding in the fine print of your policy. Stick around, because what you're about to learn could save you from financial ruin. Let's start with a story. Meet Sarah, a young professional who always did everything right. She had a good job, paid her bills on time, and diligently paid for a gold-tier health insurance plan. When she was unexpectedly diagnosed with a serious but treatable illness, she thought, "Thank goodness I have insurance." But her relief quickly turned to horror. Her insurance company denied coverage for a crucial treatment, calling it experimental, even though her doctors insisted it was the standard of care. Suddenly, Sarah was staring at a six-figure medical bill. She was forced to drain her life savings, sell her car, and borrow from family. Sarah's story isn't unique. This is the medical roulette that countless people are forced to play. You think you're covered, but when you need it most, a loophole, a denial, or a technicality can leave you bankrupt. So, how does this happen? The first major trap is the out-of-network nightmare. You go to an in-network hospital, you see an in-network surgeon, but surprise, the anesthesiologist who was on call that day wasn't in your network. Now you're on the hook for their entire bill, which can be thousands of dollars, because your insurance will only cover a tiny fraction. This is called balance billing, and it's a deliberate gap in the system that can blindside even the most careful patients. You did your homework, you chose the right facility, but you still end up with a crippling bill. It feels like a setup, because in many ways, it is. The complexity of provider networks is a maze designed to be confusing, and when you're in a medical emergency, you don't have time to check every single person's network status. Then there's the pre-authorization trap. This is a big one. Before you can get a specific test, procedure, or medication, your doctor has to get permission from your insurance company. This isn't about your health, it's about the insurance company's bottom line. They employ teams of people, often with no medical background in the relevant specialty, to review these requests. Their goal? To find reasons to say no. A delay of a few days can feel like an eternity when you're sick and waiting for answers. A denial can mean you don't get the care you need, or you have to pay for it entirely out of pocket. Insurance companies will argue this process controls costs, but for patients, it often feels like a life-or-death bureaucratic game where the odds are stacked against you. Let's talk about the illusion of choice, especially with high-deductible health plans. These plans are becoming more and more common. They tempt you with lower monthly premiums, but the catch is you have to pay a huge amount of money out of your own pocket though. Deductible before your insurance even starts to pay for most services. We're talking $5, $10, even $15,000 for a family. For many people, that deductible is so high that their insurance is practically useless for anything other than a catastrophic event. They end up avoiding doctor visits, skipping tests, and not filling prescriptions because they can't afford to pay that initial amount. So, are you really insured if you can't afford to use your insurance? It's a healthcare trap that punishes people for not being wealthy. Another hidden danger is something called a formulary. This is the list of prescription drugs that your insurance plan will cover. What you might not realize is that this list can change at any time. The medication you've been taking for years to manage a chronic condition could suddenly be dropped from the list mid-year, or it could be moved to a higher tier, meaning your copay skyrockets from $20 to $200 a month. You're left scrambling to find an alternative, which may not work as well, or you're forced to pay a price you simply can't afford. The insurance company holds all the power, and your health is caught in the crossfire of their negotiations with pharmaceutical companies. So what can you do? How do you navigate this medical maze and protect yourself? First, you have to become your own best advocate. When you're choosing a plan, don't just look at the premium. Dig into the details. What is the out-of-pocket maximum? That's the absolute most you'll have to pay in a year. What is the deductible? And critically, what are the copays and co-insurance for specialists, hospital stays, and emergency room visits? Read the fine print. Call the insurance company and ask specific tough questions. What is your policy on balance billing? Can you give me an example of a procedure that requires pre-authorization and your denial rate? Treat it like you're investigating a major financial decision, because you are. Second, always check the network. Before any non-emergency procedure, call your insurance and confirm that the hospital, the surgeon, the lab, and even the anesthesiologist are all in network. Get the name of the person you spoke to and the date and time of the call. Document everything. If they tell you something is covered, get it in writing if you can. An email is better than a phone call. This paper trail can be a lifeline if they later try to deny the claim. It's a lot of work, and it's unfair that you have to do it, but it's a necessary defense. Third, when a claim is denied, don't just accept it, appeal it. A surprising number of appeals are successful, especially when you have your doctor on your side. Insurance companies often count on people giving up after the first denial. The process can be intimidating, but you have a right to appeal. Your doctor's office can often help, providing letters of medical necessity and other documentation to support your case. There are also patient advocacy groups that can guide you through the process. Remember that first no is often just a negotiating tactic, not the final word. If you find yourself in a situation where you're overwhelmed by medical bills, don't panic and don't ignore them. Hospitals and providers are often willing to negotiate. You can ask for an itemized bill. You'd be shocked how often errors are found. You can ask for a discount for paying in cash or set up a manageable interest-free payment plan. Never be afraid to state what you can realistically afford to pay. Many hospitals also have financial assistance or charity care programs that you might qualify for, even if you have insurance. It's crucial to explore these options before letting the debt go to collections. This system is deeply flawed, and it can feel overwhelming, but knowledge is power. By understanding these hidden financial risks, the out-of-network traps, the pre-authorization games, the high-deductible illusions, and the changing formularies, you can start to reclaim some control. You can make more informed choices, ask the right questions, and fight back when the system tries to fail you. It's not just about saving money, it's about protecting your health and your family's future. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I hope this has opened your eyes to the realities of the health insurance industry. It's a complex and often unfair system, but you are not powerless. Share this video with your friends and family, because everyone deserves to know the truth about what they're paying for. If you've had your own nightmare experience with insurance, share your story in the comments below. Let's learn from each other and support each other. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that empowers you. Stay safe and stay informed.